Okay, the problem is making sure that you understand how to interpret a graph. So we're told that you've got one house, we'll call house A, and its starting price is $100,000, and it goes up, at some given rate on a graph. So this is what it's going to look like. So it starts off at 100K, and it's increasing in value. Now the trick is, they say, what would house B look like if house B has a low starting price below 100K, but it's the increase in value, it increases faster than house A. So this is house A's graph. So they're going to give you a couple other graphs to pick from. So for instance, they might say, well, let's put the graph for house B like this. Well, is that right? Based on the fact that house B has to be lower than 100K and have a greater rate of increase than A. So in this case, no, it's not right, because the starting value is above 100K, and if you look, it's supposed to be parallel lines, so that means that that rate of increase is the exact same. Okay, so that one's not going to work. So then what if you're shown a graph like this? So in this case, the starting point for house B is below 100K, but, well, if the line is like this, that means that the value of house B is decreasing, so that's not going to be right. So, long story short, the right kind of graph looks like it's got to meet the idea where it starts below 100K, so yeah, it starts below 100K, and it's got to increase at a greater rate than A, so that means the slope of the line of B has to be facing up more. That means it's got a higher slope. So if this has a higher slope, what we'll see is that over time it crosses over and increases. So on the graph they might not actually show it crossing over. It could just be, if we draw it carefully, it could be so it's going to cross over at some point. You just have to kind of eyeball the angle and make sure that the slope. So a house that increases really fast would look something like that. So anyhow, you just got to know how to draw a line that makes sense given the information. So the thing to know is where the starting point would be. So this bottom is years. You'd have to know where the starting point is, and you'd have to be able to kind of figure out what does a greater slope look like, what does a lesser slope. So generally, not generally, but the greater slopes go up this way, and decreasing the slopes go down this way. So basically, if you have a slope like this and a slope like that, it's parallel. And then if you have a slope that goes up at that rate, it's going to be increasing, and anything lower is decreasing. So you kind of got this spectrum of increasing and decreasing.